Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Augusto Argandoña Fine Arts. Anytime in this step-by-step narrated tutorial, you can click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. I will be looking forward to hearing your comments in regards to my videos. If you want to learn about my virtual classes or want to see my paintings, you can do so in my website at finearts.com. You can also send me an email to aafinearts@gmail.com. This tutorial is about how to do a street scene in watercolors. This particular location is in the city of Bradenton, which is north of Sarasota, here in the southwest Florida. And it's a very recognizable part of the Bradenton, so this is what I'm going to paint. It's going to be very sunny and very crisp, because that's my style. So let's get to the fun part of this tutorial, and that is the painting part. To start with, I'm going to do a fairly simple sky, just some blue areas, and maybe a little bit of cloud cover, but for the most part it will be blue, because I want that all the crispness to be accented against that blue sky. So I'm going to just cover this whole area with water, bring it all the way down here, but I'm carefully not to add water into that area where that building will be. And on clear days, our skies here in Florida are very, very bright, so that's how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to start by adding some blue to these areas, especially around that building. Here we are, like that. And like I said, it will leave some white areas for indications of clouds, but primarily it's going to be the blue. A little lighter towards the distance, a little darker blue in these areas over here. There's another building, I think it's a church or some type of hall there. And again, like I said, I'm going to add a little bit more blue into this area. Like that. And down like that. So that's pretty much it for the sky. Get rid of that. I'm going to add just a little bit more blue over here too, like this. There we are, there. Okay, good. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start doing some of the base color for a few of the buildings. I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna and a little bit of sepia for this building over here. It's going to be pretty light. Sunlight is going to be hitting this building over here like that, and that's about it. I'm not going to do any more on that. So now I'm going to change. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the street also. There's a white line there, and there's some white lines over here. Okay, I'm going to just do that. Okay, for the street, I'm going to use some brown matter and ultramarine blue. Make a fairly gray color. But I think before I start doing that, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to the street. Not too much, kind of just wetting the area a little bit. My style of painting is when I do street scenes and buildings, it's a combination of controlled and loose. So some of these areas I'm going to paint them fairly loose, and other areas are going to be fairly controlled. So that's just the way I paint. So I'm going to start by adding some of these colors over here. I'm bringing them right into the street area like that. Maybe a little darker, a little bit more brown matter. Like that. Just very quick strokes like that. A little bit more of the brown matter and the ultramarine blue, especially over here. There we are, like that. There. All right, so now I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to bring a little bit of ultramarine and very light touch of sepia for some of the grayish tones over here. A little bit more of the sepia. A few indications of tire tracks or what have you. Also over here. Okay, I'll let that dry. While that's drying, I'm also going to do the sidewalk, which has some gray, but I'm going to add to it a little bit of burnt umber. And bring some of that color over here like that. There's going to be some greenery there. Come over here without touching that color of the street. And do this fairly light because of the sunlight too. But just don't want to leave this area white. I just want to add a little bit of color, not too much. There we are. There. While I have my brush with some of the pigment on this brush, I'm going to add a little bit of that, a few streaks of that color on that sidewalk too. That's about it for that. So now I'm going to go ahead, get some cobalt blue, actually some ultramarine blue with this gray color that I have. And add a little bit of cobalt to that and do this shadow side of this building. And start with a line down here like that. And come down like that. Here's where I do the control part of painting. That's the way like I said, that's the way my style is. Some other artists paint very loosely. I paint loosely too, but when it comes to buildings, I like to be a little bit more precise. There. And I'm going to leave that alone. But I'm going to also bring some clean cobalt blue because that shadow area is getting a reflective color from the sky. So I'm going to darken that a little bit more, and just let that dry. It's going to dry lighter anyway. So now I'm going to, I was working standing up, but now I'm going to sit down and get myself a little bit more comfortable. Where I'm going to be able to do a few things a little bit more controlled. So now I'm going to get some burnt umber, a little bit of the brown matter, and do this. This is dry. This building here, these towers. They're getting the sunlight. Like that. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna there too. Yeah, a little bit of that. And then this one over here. Like that. Okay. I'm going to do the side walls a little later. While that's drying, I'm going to bring a little bit more of the burnt sienna with the brown matter, and I'm going to bring those colors over here, connected to that color over there. There's some that's a little bit of concrete, a retaining wall or something like that there. There's a little bit more over here. This is going to be darker, but I'm going to darken that later. There's a trunk for a palm tree there. There's some of the building over here. A little higher. There's another palm tree there too. So this is the base color. I'm gonna do them a little much darker later. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring some burnt sienna again with a little bit of cadmium red, very little, and do these roofs. There's a little, looks like a little dormer type detail on that roof, like that. This comes over here, a little dormer there too. Like that, there. And then a little bit more of that cadmium red, a little bit of burnt umber. Let's do a little bit of the detail on that little dormer. Like that. And there's some type of a little detail on this side too, like that. Okay. Now I'm going to darken this wall, this roof, a little bit more. Same thing here. There we are. Okay. I'm going to remove a little bit. I'm going to remove the valley of that. It was a little bit dark. Initially I wanted it a little darker, but I changed my mind, so Actually, this is nice because I'm picking up some of the pigment, but barely reducing the value of the color. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing with this roof. I think this building is octagonal. There's some variations of the lines. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do this building too. But I think before I do that, I'm gonna do the palm trees first. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So now there's another roof line back here. It's a little lighter. So I'm gonna do that too. It's in the distance. And there's some type of building over here. I'm gonna do some of that also. Like that. Okay. So now I'm gonna get some burnt umber, a little bit of sepia, and ultramarine. And do this edge, this side of this wall. There we are. There. A little bit more thickness to that over here, there. And it has a little bit of a metal plate in there. While I'm have that area kind of damp, I'm gonna also add some blue to it, some cobalt blue, because picking up a lot of reflective color from the sky. There. All right. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing with this other side of this towers. Some burnt umber, a little bit of a brown matter, and ultramarine blue. A little bit more brown matter. So now we can do this. This little detail there, and then do the side. There. There's a little dormer on that side too, on the edge of that. Excuse me. So those little details on the side. Now, this building has some shadow areas underneath the eave. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. But I think what I'm gonna do is about this time, I'm going to do some of the trees here. Yep. I'll use some burnt raw umber, a little bit of undersea green. There we are. And then we're going to dampen some of these areas for some of the trees. All the way down here. Then, like that. And we'll get some of these trees over here. All the way to the end of the street there. In fact, I'm gonna bring some of those trees over here too, because there's some over here on this side. Like that. Do some of these areas a little darker. For a little bit of detailing from this edges of those trees. I'm going to bring in a little bit of ultramarine blue to that mixture. Some of those trees will be a little darker. Also the lower areas of some of those trees. Okay, like that, there. There we are. There's also some bushes over here, and so I'm going to start with some over here. There's another over here like this. Just quickly indicate some of these bushes. There's lines. They're all lined up to about here, like that. And there's a grassy area over here. It's too dark. I'll lighten up a little bit. And that's about it. With some paints gray with that color, kind of dark. To the lower area of some of these bushes. I can bring a little bit of that Prince Gray over here too. Like that. Okay. Okay, so now I can work on that. You know, there's some trees over here too, so once I do that, and some sepia with this undersea green, and there's some of this there's some there. There's another one over here. Just right to that. There's some other bushes over here. There we are. So now we change brushes to a smaller round brush and do the detailings. And bring some blue over here. There we are. Get some of that gray coloration from this building. Some of there's some windows over here. Those windows with a little bit more detail. There. Increase the I gotta see a little bit more of this. So there's another window there. And then there's some window over here, a little bit of detail. There's an indication of that. And now I'm going to bring some brown matte in, a little bit of sepia, and then do this underneath of this, that eave. There we go. A little bit more. There, like that. This is going to be a little darker. There's some little details over there like this. And there's some steps or something like that over here. Might as well do that. And there's a sign or something like that. So I'm going to darken some of these areas like this. There's some detail for some building. I think this is an air conditioner unit. Might as well do that. And there's a little peak in these towers. Do this detail on this roof. Like that. There we are. And there's some shadow areas over here. Like that. There we are. Some indications of steps or something, and other shadow areas over here, coming all the way to the sidewalk. And there's something on this building too. Right here, there's some dark area. We're just going to add some of that there, like that. With a smaller flat brush, and I'll start adding some of those details on the lower side of this building. Right down to the sidewalk. There's some areas of the planters. There's a sidewalk over here. Like that there. One makes those bushes a little larger. There, like that there. There. Now, there's some other little details over here. There, okay. So that's done. I'm going to increase the value of some of the areas, the shadows underneath this eave. There we are. There, that's better. I'm going to remove this also. There. Okay. So now I'm going to do these palm trees. For that I'm going to use a smaller brush, and I'm going to use quite a bit of permanent soft green with Payne's Gray. There. And these are royal palms. So I'm gonna make those a little bit, pretty much like what they are. They are in the sun. This one's on the shade though. I'll bring a little bit of sepia into that mixture because these are fairly dark. Like that. A little bit of the on the sea green there too. Like that. More Payne's gray, make them fairly dark, especially this one that's in the shade. Like that. And there's another one next to it that's not quite as dark. It's beginning to get some sunlight. Get some little details like that over here. Yeah, like that. And there's one more. I'm going to use some raw umber with that. Over here. Yeah, a little bit more of that color. Like that. A little bit more of that Payne's gray for some of the darker fronds. There we are. Okay, so now we'll do the trunks, kind of gray. There we are. Yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna do the greenery over here on this side. I'll go ahead and wet this area a little bit too, not too much. And connect all the greenery there. Maybe a little bit of sepia, raw umber, and the sea green. And connect all of this together. There. A little darker over here. Let me see. There we are. Some greenery there too. I'm coming all the way down. I'm gonna do that over here. There's some walkways. There. There we are. And there's some greenery over here. There, like that. And I'll bring a little bit more of the sepia to darken some of these areas. some of the paints gray. There. And then a little bit of that paints gray and connect all of this again with all those trees that are in the distance. And like that, there we are. Then we start reducing the value of this greenery that's in the distance. Like that. And bring a little bit more of the paints gray and darken some of these areas over here. There. All right. That's done. This building also has another section that is very dark. Bring some bronze ultramarine blue and come down over here. Like that. There. In fact, I think I'm going to connect the two with some color blue. There we are. There. Do a line over here. There. Now there's a little bit of a reddish section over here. And like that. We'll be on that sidewalk. A little bit of texture on that sidewalk like that. Okay. So now I'm going to do this, tackle this building, bring some brown burnt umber, fairly dark mixture of burnt umber, and a little bit of brown matter and ultramarine. And this one has a little area that's dark over here. Leave some whites for those palm trees. There we are. A little bit more ultramarine, a little bit more brown matter. Makes it very dark. Like that. Can bring that down over here. Right by that palm tree, the trunk of that palm tree. Make this really dark. Like that, bring it down all the way down and catch that color in this edge too. Like that, there. And you get a little bit more water, a little bit more of those colors. And do this side. There's a roof or something like that over here. Bring those colors right down here like that. And some ultramarine. Make this much darker. And that, in fact, I'm going to darken that even more, because all of that is in the shade. Except this wall it's catching a little bit of the light, so I'll make this lighter, like that. And there's a window there too, and then I'll leave this alone. I think I'm going to bring that green all the way over here, connect it like that. There we are. And I think I'm also going to bring some burnt sienna into this area. Like that. Some of those colors there. Bring some of that color over here. There's a little bit of the reddish roof over here. And connect that to the palm tree there. And bring a little, tone that down some. Tone this down some. Connect them to this little building or something like that. I'm going to darken that area again a little bit more, this area. And add some shadows into the green over here. Good, so add some darker areas over here. Like that. Darken some of those trunks of the palm trees. There we are. Let that dry. And then now I'm going to take my smaller brush and with a very rich combination of cobalt teal and Payne's gray. I'm going to do the windows of that building. The cobalt teal and the Payne's gray, very dark. There we are. The rest of the building is going to stay pretty much white. There. a very interesting building, basically a cube with some lines. Like that. A little bit more water in my brush. Bring the next line. There, like that. A little bit more Payne's gray. And then do the next section. This is part of what I was talking about, the control portion of my style of painting. And there is some, this is a partial section, because there's something else underneath of that I can't see. Probably another building there, like that. We'll do another section over here like this. And then, I think I'm going to add a little bit more greenery in that area. There, like that. And then there is also a sign, a street sign, that is crosses the street here. Like this. And there's a post holding that over here. And it comes over here, there's another post. And there's part of that sign. So we'll do that over here like this. Like that's that street sign. And also we're gonna do this, build this, let's see. Oh, I see. This is a little different on this side. This is darker over here. There. Like that. There. Okay, now we'll start tightening things up. And there's the sidewalk over here, edge of the sidewalk. Edge of the sidewalk over here. Like that. And there's a crosswalk that is has a little bit of, I think it's brick or pavers or something like that. Has a darker coloration over here like this. Yeah. That's the crosswalk. And maybe a little darker. Reddish. There. Also, there's Another crosswalk over here. There we are. And now I'm going to bring some of the cobalt blue into that mixture. We're almost done here. Do some of this, the details on the tire tracks. Like that. Some over here too. Like that. There. And I'm gonna also tone this down a little bit. Now I'm going to get some smaller brush, get some sepia, some cobalt blue, and do some of these areas a little darker, and do some of those little details over here that I don't know what they are, but might as well do that. Some of that there. Some darker areas over here. Same thing over here. Some window or something like that over here. And little details like that. Okay, good. There's some shadows on this side. That. So a little bit of a darker area over here too. There. Like that. Some of those darker areas over here. A little bit of texture in there. And that's pretty much it. So now there's one last thing. Get a smaller brush. Get some ultramarine blue, some sepia, and there's a light pole over here. Like that. A little darker, a little wider or thicker at the base. Like that, there. And there's also another one over here. I think, yeah, there's a light there. We'll do this one. Bring that one down a little further. There. And it has height. Like that. Like that, there we are. Maybe a little dark, a little wider over here. Like that. Okay. And lastly, we'll do a little bit more of these little details. There, like that. That's it. I'm going to put some people walking around. Put some over here. Put another one over here, a little taller. There, like that. Put some on the other side too. I think I'm gonna just leave it like that. Maybe put a card over here, that's what I'll do. Yeah. There, and that's about it. So I'm going to get some white gouache and do a little bit of some highlights. In some few areas. This will be have a little bit of white there. This will have a little bit of white. There we are. This palm tree trunk, same thing. Over here, like that. I'm gonna do a little bit on these people, like that. A few areas like that there. Windows there. This window has an oval section like that there. A few little bit touches of white over here, a little bit of that over here. Same thing over here. Top of this car. That car there. And that's it. Now, lastly, get some of this brown and some of the trunks for some of these trees. Not too many. Like that. There we are. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove this tape and put this on top of a darker board, so you will be able to appreciate this street scene a little bit more. Now, before I do that, I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do this. There's some items on the street that do require a little bit of attention. There's a line, white line over here. Markers is from this sidewalkway area. And that there's a divider. I think I'm going to do here is use another tool that I have that is ideally suited for this, and it's this calligraphy type white pen. It makes a noise, but it's better than the brush. And with this, gonna get, here we are. There. It works better on darker surfaces. There, like that. And then, but I think we'll do a smaller brush. Add a little bit of water to my brush, very little. And with this, I'm going to come down here and do this white line. There's another one here. There. And then do this. There. Make this a little bit more white. There we are. Do this line. Do another one over here. And that, a little bit more accent this. There. And there's some directional signs. Like that. And that there. Right. Okay. Now there's one more thing that I'm gonna do. There's get some yellow ochre. And there's some yellow lines over here. There's one there. Another one over there. Like that. Okay. So now I will continue to remove this tape. Excuse my hand. So here comes the dark board. this so you can see. There it is. I don't remember the name of the street, but this is in the city downtown Bradenton, Florida, which is a city that is just north of Sarasota, here in southwest Florida. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy my painting. And please visit my website at aafinearts.com, where you will see information about my virtual classes and a selection of my paintings and prints. And again, just click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And I would love to hear your comments. Thank you very much. Until next time.